Today, we are going to be discussing how to navigate degree pathways to becoming a holistic health entrepreneur. We have so many students that come to us telling us that they are looking to start their own business or extend the business they already have. So we're really excited on this topic today. So joining us today are our program deans, Dr. Glenn Nagel, Dean of our Herbal Medicine Department, Dr. Lori Holdren, Dean of our General Education, Amanda Lattin, Dean of Aromatherapy, and Dr. Janet Ludwig, Dean of Integrative Health and Nutrition. And also, very excited to have our assistant professor, Jimmy Godard, join us today to discuss some of the business courses that we offer. Our panelists are going to address some of the most commonly asked questions that we receive from our prospective students when it comes to pursuing their holistic health education. So we hope everyone enjoys the presentation today. A couple of housekeeping items before we jump in. You've noticed that the line has been muted. We are recording today's presentation, so we want to make sure that the sound quality stays top-notch for everyone. But we still want to hear from you. If you have questions, don't be shy. Please enter them in the chat. We have the chat turned on now, and just another little note about that. There's a drop-down box in the chat where you can select either host and panelist or everyone. And we ask everyone to direct their questions to everyone so that we can all see your questions and others can benefit from your question. And we'll do our best to answer those along the way. One final detail, we have our priority registration deadline tomorrow for our Summer 2 accelerated semester, which starts on June 29th. Anyone who is in attendance today that is interested in moving forward and becoming a student with us, that registers for classes for Summer 2, we will waive your late registration fee if you work with us after tomorrow. So just a little bit of a bonus there. So that is all for me. I will pass it along to our speakers.
Hey, I'm Dr. Lori Holdren. I'm going to introduce what we're going to be talking about today. I'm the Dean of General Education, and I oversee quite a few of our business courses. So let's go to the next slide. What we're going to be talking about, I'm going to give you an overview of our college and the offerings that you might choose from. And then we're going to bring on Jimmy, who's going to be discussing the entrepreneurial course offerings that we have in some detail. If you have any questions as we're going through things, don't hesitate to ask in the chat, and we have panelists keeping an eye on that so we can answer your questions. Following that, we're going to go through the various degree pathways and entrepreneurial opportunities that you have in aromatherapy, herbal medicine, holistic nutrition, and integrative health and wellness, and those will be presented by the deans of each of those areas. We will also have at the end a question and answer period, and we have all of our admissions advisors here. We have registration advisors so that we can help you and answer your questions. So next slide, please. Here at the American College of Healthcare Sciences, we are a fully accredited and online institution. DEAC is our accreditor. You can apply and receive financial aid if you're eligible. We are a semester-based college. We have 15-week semesters, one in the fall, spring, and summer, so you can get through 3 times a year, so you can continuous education. We also have some accelerated terms that go for 7.5 weeks, where you can complete a course in a quicker amount of time. We have various offerings, starting with certificates, which typically are 16 credits. We have some diplomas, which are up to 39 credits. We have associate's degrees that are 60 credits and bachelor's degrees that are 120 credits. So if you're doing undergraduate, you can choose to do any of those. If you're not sure where to start, you might choose to start in a certificate. And then each of the other ones that are at higher levels with more credits actually have stackability that you can enroll. Those classes will roll over into those other degrees. At the graduate level, we have certificates, which are 12 to 15 credits. We have master's degrees, which are 36 credits. And we have a new doctorate program that's launching this fall, which is 60 credits. And just like those undergraduate offerings, you can take those classes if you start out with a certificate, and those classes can roll into the other degrees as well. What we're going to do now is take a look at the entrepreneurial offerings in the program. So I'm going to turn you over to our esteemed colleague here, Jimmy Godard, who's going to talk about our business classes. Welcome, Jimmy.
Thank you, Lori, and welcome everybody to this webinar. And I hope you get a lot of information too, and we can excite you to sign up right after the webinar is over. So I'm very excited. I'm Dr. Jimmy Godard, and I've been teaching this course, Introduction to Business and Entrepreneurship. And many of you may have some great ideas and want to really have a good overview of business, and not only in the current environment that we are in. So in this course, I have questions where the students interact with each other. The students have great ideas. And some of the fundamental component of the course is by going to a business plan where we talk about it. So at the end of this course, not only your ideas is kind of refined because you get comments, you really delve into it, but you also have an actionable business plan to really help you. So it is really great. It's really exciting. I'm always excited to see all those entrepreneurs is going to make our business world better than the way it is right now. And of course, it includes management, marketing, production, information system, and other elements of business. The next one is business communication for integrative health professionals. Business communication in the business area, in order for you to make impact, in order for you to influence, you really have to communicate clearly and consistently your idea. That's why we have what we call the elevator speech. But in this course, we have all types of business communication, whether it has to do with letters, memos, electronic communication, oral presentations, and interpersonal communication. It is really a wonderful type because we also take elements in our day-to-day life in marketing and ask our students, how would you communicate this with your staff? How would you communicate this with your stakeholders? How would you communicate this with your vendors and also employees? In addition to that, we even take use cases where students in their current work environment can also talk about some of the memos they receive from their organization. So we don't talk about the inside of it, but from that memo, did you really get the information that you needed? So we have use cases that we download from our library. So it's really a wonderful class to communicate and to learn about business communication. The entrepreneurial marketing for integrative health professionals. I love marketing because really everything that we do is marketing. This introduces the concept of marketing and provides that framework. And framework really has to do with product placement, price, and so forth. At the end, the students really have the marketing plan for their ideas, for the business ideas that they have. So we're talking about consumer behavior, you're talking about customer relationships. I've had students that say, hey, I already have my website, but I'm not getting any traffic there. What is my branding? The color of your logo, pricing, distribution, advertising, promotion. How do you do all this? When you follow a framework that takes into consideration analytical skills in marketing, principles of marketing, and you don't have to pretty much try to figure it out, but you follow a very consistent improvement method, many of our students have discovered it helps. And in that class, not only you do the classwork, but also you get feedback from your peers. So think of it really a mini mastermind kind of to really help you get your marketing plan up to point for our business world. And the consulting business skills, this one bridges the gap from the specialty to the real world with your focus. With focus, we're talking about the goal settings, we're talking about laws and ethics, communication marketing, and also it's designed to reward and applicable no matter where you go after your graduation. And for me, and I believe we will be offering this one coming up right early. And yeah, and this one is really, and one as a practitioner in the business world and also a scholar talking to our students, my focus is not necessarily just getting an assignment done. That's anybody can do that. Is how do you take what you're learning and for it to be readily adaptable in the real world? For me, that's what the value comes from, is by providing you tips and tricks, things that have been worked from whether it's scholarly journals, things that I've done myself, and things that I've interacted with other business professionals. And we can tell you, once you leave those classes and you go out there, you can implement those things right away. Entrepreneur skills. The question is, who is an entrepreneur? I'm not talking about who is also trying to get things done. We're talking about who can use methods and methodologies for you to use your natural skills. Some people have a natural skill to sell ice cream to Eskimo, right? That is good. However, we're not talking about selling to one person. We're talking about having an organizational networking, marketing, planning, record keeping skills for you to grow. The idea is not to sell one widget. The idea is how can you put together all the knowledge that you have to create that one widget and also put that into a process for it to be multiplied. And my focus is we need to start working smarter and not harder. So when you're very strategic, when you're visionary, and when you understand the product that you have, you can even sell a bad product if you have a good framework. How many of you are buying I've seen on TV products for you to buy and never use it, right? So this is what we go to these classes. We want to make sure we give you the ethical component of it, the coaching for it as well, and how to sell, and how to market yourself, and how to market your product. And of course, for me, everything that you do, it has to be ethical. You don't want to have to look behind your back. We have to do everything within the legal and professional scope of practice as healthcare professionals and also as business owners or business stakeholders.
So thank you, Jimmy, very much. What we're going to be doing now is transitioning into looking at the different areas of specialty that you might study here at ACHS. So let's move to the next slide. And we have our Dean of Aromatherapy, Amanda Lattin, who's going to entice you into her program now.
Hello, everyone. So good to be with you here. I'm very proud to be the Dean of Aromatherapy at ACHS, and I'm also quite proud to be a registered aromatherapist and herbalist. And I've run my own practice since 2007. I think we're in year 16. Is that right? 16 or 17. And many people that you meet that are professionals in aromatherapy are also going to be entrepreneurs. And it is quite common, actually, in integrative health to be an entrepreneur. And what I love about aromatherapy is that you can make it fit your interest. It can be utilized in so many different settings and in combination with so many different types of modalities. So aromatherapy, and it's very unique to have degree programs in aromatherapy. It's quite cutting edge. We have the first accredited Masters of Science in aromatherapy in the United States, and studying aromatherapy at an accredited school is an amazing opportunity because you're going to be able to take this very specialized area of interest that's growing globally and be able to bring it to a lot of different types of settings. There's always a huge interest in the community in aromatherapy. Many people purchase and use essential oils at home, and studying aromatherapy is going to make you a source of information in your community and in professionally. So aromatherapy is the intentional safe use of plant essential oils to promote health and wellness. And that seems very broad because you can do so many different things with aromatherapy. It's not narrow, it's a very broad scope, and that makes studying it very interesting. So you can use essential oils through several different methods of use, including inhalation and topical applications to support wellness. And that's what you study in our programs. You learn about the individual essential oils and their chemistry and the research supporting them and their constituents. And then you also learn how to prepare, ready to use formulations to actually deliver aromatherapy to individuals. So aromatherapists really play a special role in integrative health. You will find that aromatherapy has managed to bridge itself more into different types of clinical settings and other types of integrative health modalities like herbalism, because it's so non-invasive. You don't have to touch somebody to deliver aromatherapy. They don't have to ingest anything. They don't even have to put it on their bodies. They can just inhale the essential oils, and it can provide different types of support. So you will see aromatherapy is now taught in, holistic nursing programs. It's utilized in different clinical settings with different types of populations. For example, populations with PTSD. We're seeing it used in different clinics to support veterans that are, getting support with PTSD, for example. And it's a really beautiful modality. Plus, it smells good. That's always the bonus, right? Is getting to smell everything. So you can use aromatherapy by itself. It can be a standalone modality where people are just coming to get specifically aromatherapy, but oftentimes you will find it integrated into other modalities, which I think is beautiful. So if you already have experience, perhaps you're already a massage therapist and you want to learn how to specialize more where you're using aromatherapy with reflexology, for example, then this would really empower you to do something like that. So you don't have to leave what you were already doing. Oftentimes you will find ways to integrate aromatherapy into what you're doing or what you want to do. So if we could go to the next slide. Our aromatherapy courses at ACHS are very hands-on, and this really does support you if you're going to be entrepreneurial, because if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to be doing hands-on work. So this is not just theoretical work. You're actually going to be receiving course kits for every aromatherapy course, and we practice interacting with the essential oils. We practice how do we talk to a client or a customer about this essential oil? How would we perhaps utilize this essential oil in different types of products or preparations for clients? So very hands-on. You're never just talking about it or reading about it. We do it. We do it in the aromatherapy courses. Plus, you get incredibly in-depth in-house e-textbooks on essential oils, monographs, and the inner workings of aromatherapy as a modality. We also have other textbooks from other experts in the field incorporated into our graduate programs. But really, the shining star is the expert faculty that we have in this department. You are going to get to learn from people like myself with almost 20 years of practice working as an aromatherapist and an herbalist in many different types of settings. We have doctorates in acupuncture who also have like 20 years of experience integrating aromatherapy into acupuncture, master estheticians who've worked in skincare development and specialized populations using aromatherapy in skincare for all different kinds of populations, clinical nutritionists who also work with aromatherapy, researchers, pharmacology researchers who've extensively studied botanical medicine. So you really are going to get to hear from many different voices in your aromatherapy education. So depending on where you want to take your aromatherapy business or your aromatherapy education, chances are you're going to find somebody in our department who has experience that they can lend you from that perspective. So it's evidence-based aromatherapy. It's very science-based aromatherapy, but we also integrate with that a holistic view of the individual, learning how to support mind, body, and spirit, and how to really look at your aromatherapy work from that perspective. Go to the next slide. So our goal in the aromatherapy department is to not only get you the practical hands-on information that you need and to understand the science and the theory behind aromatherapy, but also to make sure you can receive your professional credentials in aromatherapy and get the professional support that you need after graduation. That's really important for an entrepreneur to have community support, not only in your local community, but in your professional community, because you're going to face questions. You're going to need to continue to develop your skills even after graduation, and being a part of a professional organization really helps you to have that support. So our programs are designed to qualify graduates to sit for the registered aromatherapist exam through the Aromatherapy Registration Council. This gets you a legal credential as a registered aromatherapist. I'd like to note that this is not a license to practice. There is no license to practice aromatherapy in the United States, but this is a legal credential saying that you are a registered aromatherapist. They also, graduates will qualify for professional or clinical memberships with the Alliance of International Aromatherapists and the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. These are the two main professional aromatherapy organizations in the United States that will support you in helping to get liability insurance for your practice. But also you have access to monthly continuing education webinars with both of these organizations. They have practitioner directories or business directories. They also have wonderful biannual conferences that you can go to, which are hugely supportive, and you're just involved in those communities. You're able to reach out for support. You're able to keep up through the monthly newsletters with what's happening in the industry, opportunities for your business, opportunities to continue to get skills that you need. So if you're creating if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur in aromatherapy, there are a lot of different areas where you could focus your business. And it really does depend on what inspires you, what role you want to be in, and who you want to be working with. These are the type of healthcare professionals that currently utilize aromatherapy. So you may be able to integrate your work into one of these areas of healthcare. You also might want to be involved in product development. So you might be working with, a formulating company that's helping you develop your product line, and you are going to be able to be active in that role. You're going to understand what you want your products to do, what essentials you want to use, how you want to, the delivery methods you want to incorporate, all of that. The programs, aromatherapy programs really empower you with that. In the aromatherapy classes, we do focus on necessary business skills. That's a requirement for both Alliance of International Aromatherapists and the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, is to help graduates have business skills that they need. So you will learn the process of working with clients to help create aromatherapy support plans for them. You have to take a business skills class in the programs that helps you understand the process of starting a business and the steps to be able to, get started with that, and how to market and how to really help focus your vision and create goals for yourself to get your entrepreneurial idea off the ground, or to grow what you're already doing. We really support students in being empowered to be able to write, because so much of what we do now as entrepreneurials is share information. We either share information about what our business is about, or we're sharing information so people can find our business. And so having really good, competent writing skills to be able to publish either on a blog or in a magazine or in a journal or just your own social media, that's hugely empowering. And we do a lot of practice with that in the aromatherapy classes. So you may even be able to start providing like community education or community resources. There's just a lot of different directions you could take that. Go to the next slide. We've had alumni successfully do this. For example, here, Jennifer Langsdale, who got her Master's of Science in Aromatherapy, started her own online business for aromatherapy, self-care, and skincare products. She also is a yoga instructor, and she also teaches other yoga instructors. So she's incorporated aromatherapy into what she was already doing with yoga in her community. And so she became a community resource. We've had other graduates launch successful aromatherapy hair care line for ethnic care, and really was able to bring the message of holistic skincare into that community. She's done such a fabulous job. She speaks on a number of different social media platforms. We've had graduates be able to bring proposals to create an aromatherapy nursing program in the hospital that they worked in, or to be able to start working in different other holistic care clinics in their area. So I could go on with lots of examples, but this is very implementable. If you complete one of these programs, you will have the skills that you need to take your ideas and start implementing them. And of course, with entrepreneurship, you have to have lots of motivation. You need to be passionate. You want to do this, but our programs give you the information, the skills, and the support that you need to be able to go and start being active with them. I think that was, so these are our aromatherapy programs at ACHS. You can see we have quite a few to offer. At the undergraduate level, we have the certificate in aromatherapy. This is a great opportunity for students who have already taken anatomy and physiology. This program does not include the required anatomy and physiology. So if you've already taken that, certificate of aromatherapy is very focused on the actual aromatherapy classes. The diploma in aromatherapy program is, the complete package. You take all the anatomy and physiology classes, all the aromatherapy classes, the essential oil chemistry class, the business classes. So if you're just starting from the beginning, the diploma in aromatherapy is the full package. It meets the education requirements to get a clinical aromatherapy membership with AIA, for example, or to sit for the RA exam. You also can specialize in aromatherapy in either the Associates of Applied Science in Integrative Health Sciences or the Bachelor of Science in Integrative Health Sciences. You can complete the entire track of aromatherapy courses within those degree programs, which is fantastic. And then at the graduate level, we also have a certificate in aromatherapy. Again, this is wonderful for people who've already taken anatomy and physiology and do not need to repeat that content. And then our Master of Science in Aromatherapy is, again, that full encompassing aromatherapy training with the wellness coaching class, the stress management classes, all the aromatherapy classes, your anatomy and physiology. It's a really beautiful, fully encompassing program. You can also have an aromatherapy specialization in our Master of Science in Integrative Health Sciences. So if you already have an undergraduate degree and you're looking for more education, I really encourage people to take the leap and get that graduate certificate, or possibly roll it up to completing a Master of Science. That is just going to put a big jump in your credentials and your credibility and the places that you'll be able to take aromatherapy. That being said, you're going to get a fantastic training if you're at an undergraduate level. And maybe you've been considering getting your degree and you want to start with the diploma, you can roll these credits up to an associate's or Bachelor of Science degree if you choose to in the future. But if you're just looking for the aromatherapy training and you're not qualified or interested in taking the graduate classes, you can get the full training at the undergraduate level. So these are the programs that we offer. I think that was my last slide. I'm not double check. Yeah. I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat that any of you might have. And I will introduce now our Dean of Herbal Medicine, Dr. Glenn Nagel.
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm an herbalist and naturopathic physician, and I was just doing the math here. This year, I've been a naturopath for 30 years and an herbalist for 40 years. So I bring a lot of experience. I was in practice for 25 years. I've taught for 20 plus years. I've worked in the herbal industry for a number of the top herbal companies. So formulation. So speaking what Professor Latin had said, that all our faculty are so well versed in our topics. We have a lot of naturopathic physicians who teach in our program, as well as acupuncturists. So they come from the clinical, from the industrial, from the research model. And so what is herbal medicine? Well, in the United States, it's herbal medicine. In Canada, it's herbal medicine, but it's all about the same. It's all about studying plants. And we include mushrooms and essential oils. You know, I like to think of at ACHS, the holistic sandwich. Herbal medicine is the meat or the cheese or the vegan slices. And then the breads are on either side are nutrition and aromatherapy, because aromatherapy comes from plants and many herbs are very, very nutritional. So all these programs kind of roll together, and some of the programs you have an opportunity in the integrative studies to study all of them. The herbal medicine is so honored and traditional because I think everybody understands this is what my grandparents used. Medicine 100 years ago was herbs. It wasn't until drugs started being developed. And so herbal medicine everybody has this deep connection. I like to think of it like watching a campfire. I don't know why we're fascinated by it, but we are, because it's hardwired into who we are. And I think herbal medicine is the same way. You make your own tea, you drink it to help yourself. It's completing something that's very ancient. And so when we talk and study herbal medicine in the program, we're really talking about these immortal beings that we share with you that have been helping humanity for thousands of years. And so we have a historical model, we have a scientific model, but we also have a practical model. Next slide. So all our classes contain practical lab kits. And this is an example of the Herb 101 kit that contains 16 samples of herbs. All the herbs we have and the essential oils are in-house tested for organoleptics and for microscopy so that we know we're giving you the right thing. And this is one of the reasons we have our kits. You can get herbs and oils everywhere, but the quality is always a big issue. So everybody's getting the same kind of plants. We have long supported organic agriculture. We think it's the way to go. When we test essential oils, it's so hard sometimes to find things that are not contaminated by pesticides. And so we're pre-screening these things to give you the highest quality so that you have the plants that you can make into teas, into tinctures, and hands-on experience that we all do together in a class. And so it's very empowering. Students really enjoyed that aspect. And as an educator that loves hands-on, I have found that even the virtual model, we can do so much with students. And that's exciting for everybody. Next slide. What are the opportunities in credentialing? Well, the herbalists are very self-made. In fact, the one main US accrediting body, American Herbalist Guild, the AHG, it's been around 20 some years. Many of my colleagues were the original founders. It was very difficult to agree on what an herbalist is. There are no licensing for herbalists, but there's third-party recognition. You can be a registered herbalist by the AHG. And some of our programs give you the academic credentials to be able to apply for that. The clinical and mentorships would be an additional work that you have to do. But many of our students become researchers, they develop their own products, they become influencers, they become educators. And so the clinical herbalist is one path, but many other paths are out there because herbalism is massively growing. One thing we saw through the pandemic is every herb company was at their limits of production. Because of course, any herb has to come someplace from a farm. And so you can't just order more herbs unless somebody's growing more herbs. And so all these herbal companies that have been growing are looking for educators, for formulators, for farmers, and things that can help support this industry. And so there's so many opportunities being created that our students are really jumping into a cutting edge time right now. Next slide. So many of our students have gone out there and done great work. Michael Ford is an alumni. He's had, I think, 2 or 3 of our degrees, and he's done herbalism, aromatherapy, has skincare, he has a consulting practice, Avon Wellness. I mean, he was our outstanding graduate last year. And so here's an example of somebody taking their skills they've learned, bringing the skills from other areas. He has skincare training, and he brought it in to create a unique brand for himself. And it's exciting to see our students. As teachers, our highest compliment is when our students succeed beyond our own wildest dreams. And to see our students going out there, making careers, but more importantly, touching people's lives, changing people's lives. That's really what empowers us as the faculty and staff at ACHS. Next slide. We have a lot of programs. You're going to get these slides. You can look at them, undergraduate and graduate programs. I'm not going to go into them in detail, but there's a program for you if you're interested in botanical medicine. All right, let's turn it over to Janet. Dr. Ludwig.
Thank you, Dr. Nagel. I am so excited to be here. And since we've had everybody indicate how long they've been in this field, I think I'm the senior here. I've been around in research, traditional medicine, medical schools. I even grew up. My father was an MD, but he always believed in integrative health. He did some of the original work on the vitamins in the early 1900s. So you can tell how long I've been around it. I grew up with my father having a laboratory in the basement. So I have a traditional background. My degree is in biochemistry, actually agricultural biochemistry and nutrition. So I have, my main interest was in research and getting all of you involved in the process because we all eat, right? And all the nutrients and all of the inflammatory molecules that we eat, we have to discuss that at the role of the biochemistry. So I am very interested to talk to you. My background is research and in putting this in the inflammatory role. And bringing this to this webinar, I get to finish it up and I'll go rather quickly because you already know the general aspect of how the courses work. Holistic nutrition, it is based on holism, that we are all interconnected. As indicated, it requires a whole life approach, which is what I grew up with. We will discuss traditional nutrition, that which is in the USDA, but we'll also touch on all of the cultural philosophies of Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and of course, all of the new things are in the media: ancestral foods, raw foods, cleansing, vegetarianism, and of course, my very important role of anti-inflammatory. We give you the basis to develop it on the normal person, and then we emphasize it to bring you up to the optimal. It's individual. Next slide, please. What are the courses like? Very similar to the aromatherapy that you've already heard about, as well as the herbal studies. It's based upon a comprehensive education that you will receive in anatomy, physiology, as well as counseling and psychology, being able to connect with people and understand what is needed. It is indeed taught by very experienced educators that have terminal degrees as naturopathic doctors, masters, doctors, and of course, registered dietitians who are already in the healthcare systems, and nutritionists that aid relative to some of the disease conditions when they're in the healthcare system. And I'm so excited that we also in nutrition have practical kits, which not only give you the basis of food and safety preparation, but also the use of aromas and herbal techniques to relax and improve the condition as you are advising them on their nutritional support. All of this is health restoring. Next slide, please. Similar to all the other programs, our programs are linked with licensures, certifications, and networking opportunities in the field of nutrition. We are linked with the National Association of Nutrition Professionals. This is the NANP, as indicated by this signal here. Our nutrition programs and counseling is also linked with the National Academy of Sports Nutrition, the NASM, and you will also be able to contact the certified clinical nutritionist and apply to sit for that exam. All of these are necessary for you to be licensed and following the guidelines for your particular state. Some states in the United States will allow you to have a license in nutrition based upon you having a master's and or a doctorate. Those are a few states. We will teach you all of those so that you can go out and open up a practice based upon the credentials. We are also, many of our students are employed also in corporations. Indeed, Google, Amazon, all of those corporations need to have employee performance optimized. Many of our graduates go into these, as well as healthcare industries, even sports team. I'm in the Los Angeles area, and a few of them are related to the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, medical centers, naturopathic office, and fitness and wellness centers. Everybody eats, so they need some advice relative to this. And of course, the entrepreneurial being a health and wellness consultant. Next slide, please. And as we have incredibly successful graduates in the other disciplines, one of our alumni is Dr. Cindy Ross. She's created a successful online nutrition and wellness business. She was our accreditation outstanding graduate for 2021, which is a very important recognition. She is board certified in holistic nutrition, as well as she is board certified in the certified dietary supplement, which is also through the National Association of Nutrition Professionals. This is her website, icons over on this side here. Next slide, please. These are our programs in holistic nutrition. As you can see, you can start with the certificate, go on up through diploma, associate, holistic nutrition at the bachelor level, certificate, master's, and then of course, this is so exciting to be able to introduce the Doctor of Science in Integrative Health, which hopefully we'll have time to talk about after this presentation. Next slide, please. And I'm still here because of the fact that I am also involved in integrative health, which is, next slide, thank you. What is integrative health? As we all know, the world is full of conventional medicine, which I have a firm foot in beginning, complementary and alternative medicine, which has been around for centuries, and we have specialties in that. And of course, self-care, which we teach you a great deal about that for you and for your clients. Integrative health is the integration of all of these three. It incorporates modern science with the traditional health modalities that have been around for centuries. Practitioners are the ones that bridge this gap between all of these. They actually provide practical, individualized wellness support using all of these. And I'd love to have you working in the field of nutrition and the inflammatory process, because I feel that is one of the bases for some of the issues. Next slide, please. These are what our integrative health courses are like. You will not only be trained in the health, disease, and lifestyle, but you will also know how to convey that to clients on an individual basis or even on a group basis. Many of our students go in and develop protocols for corporations, for other entities. You will have the practical labs in all of these programs, and you will have practice sessions for the coaching ability. You'll have recorded and audio recordings with your volunteer clients. They will be recorded and presented to your colleagues in the class who will comment on those, as well as your instructor will give you a great deal of feedback. And as you already know, they are taught by trained educators with degrees in all of these sciences. Next slide, please. Again, similar to the other programs, the certifications, license, and credentials are open to you depending upon your programs. You can be coaches, consultant, and educator. We have many writers and speakers that have published books and go out on the circuit and indicate that. Allied healthcare professionals have come into our programs to improve their background. And of course, government and community-based integrative healthcare advisors. We do teach legislature so that you can go in and have some input in your state to improve food production, to improve some of the healthcare modalities that are out there in the government. And of course, community health organizations. Many of our graduates go into those. Next slide, please. And indeed, this is another person who is a graduate, Ferrante Agar. She earned a Master of Science in Health and Wellness, as well as these other multiple degrees. And she began this study because she lives in an area that's a food desert. Organic and fresh foods were very limited, and she wanted to incorporate that into her family and her community. She developed this Healthy Low Care Lady where she advises. She's also a licensed doula, breastfeeding peer counselor, and a yoga instructor. So all of those work with our curriculum, and we want to urge you to take advantage of that. Next slide, please. These are listings of all of our programs. Again, you can see we have the undergraduate programs. These are specific certificates that will be linked with health and fitness training, as we've already mentioned. Going on, again, they are stackable for all of these in the integrative health. Our graduate programs, again, are leading into the graduate certificates. And then, of course, too, your terminal degree would be obtained in the Doctor of Science in Integrative Health Sciences. To get into this, to start, you have to have a master's degree, but it does not have to be in nutrition or herbal studies. It can be in any master's degree. We will make sure that you have the background to begin in this doctoral program if you choose to go in that direction. I think that might be my last slide. Yes, I will turn that over, and thank you very much. I'd love to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, all of your deans, for all your fine courses that you've been sharing with us. The other courses that you would take that are part of all these degrees do fall under the general education courses. And we provide a lot of student support for our courses that you'll be taking in addition. If you go into the bachelor's programs, for example, would be things like anatomy and physiology and biology, chemistry, mathematics, and English, research, writing, that type of classes. We have professors support throughout all your curriculum. You can meet with them via Zoom. They have weekly Zoom sessions with your class. They have virtual offices and time that is available to meet with you. We have peer tutoring. We have academic coaching and advising. You'll be assigned an advisor as you come into ACHS, and they will be there for you. They reach out if they see it and they're concerned about you. They'll reach out. They reach out if you're doing great to give you a high five. We have student success seminars. We have seminars like this one where you can ask the deans questions. We have Timely Care, which is a health support online for you. We also have some student social activities. Coming up, we're having graduation, and we're going to have on campus before graduation so people can tour the campus. And Dr. Glenn's going to take everybody on an herb walk. So we're really getting excited about graduation, but there's a lot of opportunity to interact with your fellow students, even though we are all working in different parts of the country and the world. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to turn you over to admissions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Heller. I'm the Director of Enrollment Services, and I work with the entire admissions department and with some of the students and helping you guide you through the entire admissions process. We and our team is entirely here to work with you one-on-one to help you determine what program and coursework is going to be the best fit for you and your goals. Help you through the admissions process. Our goal is to help honestly make it as smooth as possible, because there might be these application documents, getting a transcript or two. Graduate students, we need to get letters of recommendation. So we're here to be your resource and advocate and assist every step of the way. But at the end of the day, most importantly, being your resource and advocate and really coaching you to get on the right pathway and any of the programs that our program deans talked about today to get you headed in the right direction to achieve those personal and professional goals. Can we hit the next slide, please? So you may recognize some faces, some names, if you've already been working with us here in the admissions department. But don't hesitate to give us a quick phone call today or shoot us a quick email. We'll get back to you as soon as possible, but we want to be able to answer all of your questions and just be there by your side as we navigate every step and getting you through. And here's the cool thing. We don't just disappear once you've applied. We're here by your side through acceptance, being accepted, getting your funding secured, helping you build your first couple semesters and your schedule for those couple semesters, and actually finalizing your enrollment. And then we're here to also support you into attending like your new student orientation and starting your first week of classes. So outside the full team, which some of them you've met today with your program chairs and one of our business professors, student services. Again, we're here to just be your best friend and help you get from point A to point B and jump into your classes, whether you want to do that coming up here in June 29th or in the September term. Can we hit the next slide? So real quick, we're going to have, I know, a question answer session. There was a couple really good questions I wanted to make sure that we addressed, and I was making notes along the way. So of course, if you have questions, keep throwing them at us. But the first question I wanted to quickly address was, what's the difference between a diploma and a degree? So our undergraduate diploma programs are professional credentials. They're a form of a certificate. So our diploma programs are all under about no more than around 36 credit hours. So a diploma is more of a professional credential versus an associate's or bachelor's degree. But a lot of our students, like the program deans have mentioned, may like to jump into a certificate or diploma program, something more professionally career focused, based on your professional goals, studying in those specific areas or modalities may help you do exactly the type of work you're wanting to do or to build the business you want to build. So those can be a quicker way to earn a credential that's going to help you jump into your, like, building your business, seeing clients and such. We also had some questions about transfer credit. And I want to make sure everyone knows, upon acceptance, no matter if you've been accepted to an undergrad program, a master's degree, we always review for transfer of credit. Our registrars review those for each student individually after acceptance. And that way your admissions advisor can share with you what potentially transferred in and can save you some time and money as you're making your investment into your schooling. And then we also can even discuss challenge exams. So there is the option to even look at testing out. So if you have a really strong background in a specific field, we can always look at maybe testing out to get you jumped a little further ahead as well, which is fantastic. We had some questions about start dates. So of course, we always have our traditional classes that start in September for fall. But for any of our students that are eager to jump in, we are offering some of our most popular classes at both the undergrad and graduate level here at the end of June. So we have our mini summer session that starts June 29th. And Troy, as he mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, anyone who has been working through the admissions process or starts the admissions process today with the goal of starting classes on June 29th, we're waiving the late registration fee for you if you attended today. So you and your admissions advisor would work closely together to accelerate that process and get a schedule and funding in place so you could jump into orientation and classes before the end of the month. So that is totally an option. Some of our students are taking 2 or 3 classes in that mini session to jump ahead because they can graduate a little bit sooner. But if you are starting with a smaller program like a certificate, students can literally get half their program done within 7.5 weeks versus doing it over a full 3 months. So a lot of opportunity there. And it's also a great option if you are a little bit busy this summer and you just want to take a single class, something really fun and hands-on like Herb 101, Aroma 101. We have that opportunity to jump into a course that has heavy on the practical and lab side as well. So we're really excited about that. We had some questions about careers a little bit previously, and I just want to throw it out to the program deans. If someone is interested in a career in research, what does that look like? How do you look and what kind of places hire for jobs doing research in this field?
I'm not sure if Dr. Ludwig was going to jump in there. She presented herself as the research expert on the panel. But
wait a minute, I missed the question. I was responding on the chat.
But you know, it really depends on what kind of research you want to be involved in. And there are a lot of different roles in research, as Dr. Ludwig will tell you, you know, so the answer to that is there's not one straightforward answer. You know, you could have, I think you would be looking at having at least a master's degree to be involved in most types of research. Mm-hmm. My background is in chemistry, so, you know, that's typically what we're looking at. But, you know, in aromatherapy, there's a lot of different types of research. There's research on the essential oils themselves. There's research on seeing how effective they are in different clinical settings. There's research on the plants and where they're growing and, you know, what affects essential oil production in plants. So again, there's not like a broad general answer, in my opinion. It really does depend on what it is, what kind of research you want to be involved in. In herbalism, it's the same thing. It can be clinical research, or it can be environmental research, you know, looking at the environments that these plants grow in and sustainability. Sustainability is a huge component of both aromatherapy and herbalism. So for big answer is to do proper research, you're probably looking at having a doctorate. If you want to be the lead on research, you're going to need to get a doctorate, but it doesn't mean you can't participate in research in other ways before you have a doctorate. That would be my answer to that question. I don't know if everybody else is satisfied, but that would be my answer to that.
I think that's really valid for sure. Thank you, Amanda. Janet, you had some feedback too?
I am jumping up and down because I'm sorry I missed the initial question. Thank you, Amanda. Indeed, we do have opportunities at the capstone levels and even some of the assignments to align with researchers, such as at the in the master's level, we have a student that did a research report on cinnamon, and she was aligned with actually she was supported by her employer who produces supplements. So yes, we do have those opportunities at the doctoral level. One of the dissertation students that I've worked with in the past, she's aligned with a professor at Utah State. Her field is in beef production and in regenerative soil, and with people that are farmers, the cattle growers. She's involved with the researchers that are growing the cattle, taking samples of the meat, and then sending it to Utah State to do profiles on the unsaturated fatty acids and how it is linked to cardiovascular disease. So yes, our program will allow you to align with other industries, other universities, other programs that are very important to integrative health in all aspects of it. So great question.
And I can add that the research component, our students in the programs that are taking the capstone, which is a research paper. One of my herbal students wrote a great capstone herbal paper on St. John's wort. She got that recently published in the American Herbalist Guild Journal after she submitted it, and they worked together to revamp it. So students are taking their research projects and moving them out into the industry, creating awareness on the problems and solutions, and poster presentations and research, original research. I agree with everybody that the doctorate level, if you want to do clinical research, investigate, that probably need a doctorate level to be on the team, but we're getting people that are really influencing new startups. One of our herbal students did a great paper on psilocybin and mental health, and now she's involved in a board, and that's being developed in Oregon as we speak. And so these are some cutting edge therapies that research is being involved in.
Same in the aromatherapy department, bringing your interests to these programs. I think that's what's great about our programs is they're not homogenous. Everybody's in there for their own passions, and we can support that. So yeah, we've had capstone projects be published in international research journals, and we've also had them be components of information gathering for research on, for example, sleep in aromatherapy, just to give one example. So it really does depend on what you want to do with it. I think that's great.
And whether a student is at the undergrad or graduate level professional studies, our professors and our program chairs are extremely supportive of students who are wanting to write, publish, get their articles in journals, attend professional conferences and present. So if that is an interest and passion of yours that you want to pursue, they will definitely work with you. We had just a couple more questions. I know a lot of people have to get back to work or they took breaks to attend today. So I will be getting a transcript of all the questions to make sure I've answered everyone one-on-one and be reaching out to you over the next couple days. But I wanted to quickly mention, people were asking about time to complete programs. It is a little bit varied. I want to be transparent that every student we work with has a different schedule when they jump into school. So every student has a different planned graduation date depending on that schedule. I have some students that are only able to attend half-time, part-time, and then other students who can't attend full-time. So your admissions advisor will talk to you about the time availability, time commitment you have one-on-one for your unique situation and balance, and then help you understand based on the program you're applying or accepted into what that planned graduation date looks like. So it's not a one fits all. It's, all about fitting for your situation and setting you up for academic success. I think we're gonna go ahead and in today's webinar, because again, we know a lot of people took time from their work days and such to attend. So we're going to be sending a recording out. I'm going to be reaching out about any questions that we missed or did not get time to answer. But thank you so much for attending today. We're just love sharing what the different pathways look like. We know most of our students want to work and be their own business owners, but that core passion to help others is what brings us all together. So it's really exciting. Have an amazing day. And we look forward to hearing from you and seeing your applications pop in.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.